Hello my friends and welcome to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Solo Mode Decks Overview Part 8. Okay, so I'll go through a few more of the Solo Mode decks. I think I still have a few more of these to go through. Which one did I stop on? I think it was the Goki one that I stopped on. Yeah, so I did that. Remember doing that. I think it's just the last one. Yeah. So yeah, it's the last one, and then I'll move on to one of those solo mode gates that I haven't done yet. But yeah, I'll do this one first, get this one finished. So this is basically, what is this? An Appliancer deck. And it's called AI that wants to be smarter because this is, I believe that vacuum cleaner in Brains was the one to use this. Yeah. Pretty fun deck though. Yeah, it fights with mainly Appliancer linked monsters. If they fight while switching monsters that they are linked with, they get different effects depending whether they're co-linked or not. While they're not very powerful monsters on their own, they complement each other nicely when linked together, aim to fulfill the activation requirements for each card's effect. So basically, the appliances are really easy to go into. There's a lot of link 1s and there's a few link 2s. So they're generally really easy to go into. So if you only have one appliancer, you can go into one of your link 1s, and if you have two, you can go into one of your link 2s. And then these cards are basically to help make sure that your appliances are able to stay on the field, or if your opponent makes a direct attack. Which I don't think like you should really be worrying about like your opponent attacking directly any time like that, because like you're probably going into a monster right away. It's like really easy. Like I guess if you just happen to get a bad hand, at least there's that to mitigate that a little bit. And then Cyber Valley is probably the better one, since this like works on like a regular attack, even if it's just on a monster. Yeah. There's a few other nice effects, but mostly it's just used for the first one, since it's another one of those end the battle phase effects. And then the terraforming is used to get you into your... Which one's a field spell? Oh, this one. Yeah, it adds an Appliancer card from your deck to your hand. Yeah, so you can use this to get yourself an Appliancer, and then you can like use another one on another turn to get yourself another Appliancer. Yeah. Also, what's kind of cool is that since the other two effects on hard once per turns, actually the third one doesn't really matter, but the like first one, since that's not a hard once per turn, what you can do is like if you already have one out, you can like make sure you use that effect, and then you can like activate another one, and then you can use that once per turn effect again, which is kind of cool. So you can like end up getting two appliances from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so This is cool. This basically replaces appliances on your field for appliances in your graveyard. Yeah. Which could be useful if you're looking for like different effects. Also, like, you can banish the link 1s to maybe get out the link 2s if you have any of those. And another thing is maybe you can like set up to make for better arrows, or maybe you could like make it so that you can have them be pointing to different stuff. Yeah, and then Pulse Mine's really good when you're playing a machine deck. Pretty good disruption card. And then Network Trap Hole is kind of just like, is a little bit situational. But like they probably understand that the other deck is probably gonna like have like stuff that is gonna make this activate. Yeah, so yeah, this deck is pretty much about like, of course it's got the disruption cards, but it's also got ways of getting monsters onto the field. 1-for-1's kind of nice because you can maybe trade your like nearly useless Swift Scarecrow to bring out one of your level 1 appliances. Yeah, because once you get your plays going, you won't really need the Swift Scarecrow in your hand. Yeah, and then of course the links like work off of each other, and they get different effects depending whether the co-linked or not. So you want like, so they have like different effects for different occasion. And the nice thing about them just calling for one appliance or 2 appliances is that you can constantly tag them out for your other links. So you can even tag them out using one of your other links and then bring out like a different one, like if you no longer like need the one you have currently. That's the nice thing about having so many link 1s. And this is like the deck that like is mostly focused on link 1s, which is actually a really cool idea because then you can like constantly tag them out. But of course they are like balanced by the fact that they can't be used as link material the turn they're link summon. So you can't just like tag them out like on the keep tagging them out on the very first turn. Yeah. But of course this one can be used as link material on the turn it's link summon. But it's a higher link rating too, so like it probably didn't really even need that anyway. So yeah. Anyway, that's the deck there. And then I'll go ahead and look at the opponent's deck. So here's what the opponent's deck looks like. They're playing Mecha Phantom Beast. So yeah, that's why the Network Trap Hole was good in my deck, because yeah, they have a few monsters that like special summon from the deck. I know there gotta be a few. Which one's special summon from the deck here? That doesn't special summon from the deck. There's gotta be a few though. That one adds. Which one special summons? Do they not have anything that special summons from the deck? Yeah, here we go. So I guess it only stops the Auroradon, which is still kind of good because Auroradon's a pretty good link. So yeah, it's pretty good. It stops the Auroradon, that Network Trap Hole. That's what it stops. Yeah, of course. So of course the Mecha Phantom Beasts are pretty good because they can summon tokens, and then those tokens can be used for link summon. So I think the Mecha Phantom Beast came out before the Link summons were a thing, but now that the links that links are a thing, they became a lot better because now the tokens can be used for more than just like protecting your monsters. They can also be used for link summons. Yeah, I know a lot of these link monsters also have like token summoning effects as well. So yeah, not bad. This one allows you to draw two. That's cool. Which is pretty cool because like there's a lot of decks that don't have a built-in draw two. So the ones that do, it's not bad because like the pots are nice and all, but usually they have a lot harsher requirements than like these like simple draw twos that are like built into specific archetypes. And I think that's basically like Konami's way of like balancing out maybe like some of the weaker strategy or maybe some of the weaker typings by like giving them really nice draw spells. Like basically like with the Black Wings, they might be a little bit weaker, but they're balanced out in the fact that they have a really nice draw spell. I mean, then again, like Dark Attribute isn't that weak and has an allure of darkness, but I think like a lot of people just don't choose to use it. I mean, I don't choose to use it. I don't know. I mean, you do need a dark, and like it's not like Sprites, the one that I'm playing, like all of their monsters are dark, so I guess like it can whiff. I mean, I guess it's better like if you're playing like a dark deck where like the dark monsters actually want to be banished, or if you're playing like a deck that has a lot of dark monsters and so you're basically never gonna whiff. Like maybe it's good in Burning Abyss because like you're probably playing a lot of dark monsters in that deck, or maybe it's good in Phantom Beast because you're playing a lot of dark monsters in that deck. Yeah, I guess you need to be like running a whole bunch just to make sure like you're able to use it right away. And I guess you can't always ensure that with Sprites. I don't know. Also, I think Pot of Prosperity isn't that bad since like Sprites really only need one like a certain card to be able to like start their plays. They can really go off with basically like one card. So just need it to be the right card. So that's why I play Pot of Prosperity. So like also so like it's basically like when you're looking for just one card, you don't really need to play a draw spell. So there's also that, I guess. Yeah, there's also that. Anyway, a lot of these other cards are like helping to give the machine a little bit extra attack. Some give them permanent attack boost even when it leaves the field. Some give them like attack boost as long as it stays equipped. Yeah. And some like help them out in other ways. This gives the thing an extra attack. Yeah, this one also gives attack boost. So like my opponent's playing quite a few ways of like getting attack boosts. And they're also machine armor units, so of course really nice because you get to like basically trade out one of your machines once it's sorted out for another one. And it's not once, and each one has its own separate once per turn. So if you have two of these out, you can basically trade out one for two, which is pretty good. Assuming you have the targets in your deck, of course. Yeah. This one could potentially destroy a whole bunch of monsters. Like, if for every 1,000 attack it has, it destroys another card. It does target, which probably shouldn't be that much of a problem. It's another one that that gives the machine. So I guess it's because they do have like fairly low attack. Like it's helpful to give them extra attack because like all of these have like fairly low attack. So it's nice that you have like cards that like equip them. And also Hold on. Never mind. Never mind. I don't know what it was. Do any of these have to like tribute a card? But nah, I guess it's all about tributing the tokens. And also it helps make sure they stay on the field so they can actually make use of their effects like every turn. Yeah, so there's also that. So yeah. So it seems like this deck is basically like they want to bring out like a really big monster, and they want to make sure that like they're able to keep like, well, I mean, like basically these are pretty good because like a lot of these like special summon tokens like in like one way or another. So like you should be able to go into your Link 2 fairly easily. And then link to this one. And then this adds a continuous or a field spell from your graveyard to your hand. So it adds this or this one. So I guess it might be kind of difficult to get into your Link 3s. But that's probably why you have like some of these cards, to make sure you're able to keep up your Link 2. Since it's also Machine. Yeah, it's fairly low attack, but then you can use some of your cards to give it a little bit extra stats. So you can like make sure you have it out. Like if you could only go into this and not the Link 3, like maybe you can give it a little bit more survivability. So on your next turn you can like go into a Link 3 using this and like one of your other monsters, or like better yet your token. That like that monster is probably gonna summon. So yeah. And then you probably want to just go into Mecha Phantom Beast. That's probably the best one to go into. And then like you can basically help protect that. And you can basically do the same thing with that one. Like protect it with like some of the cards that like gain material. And so this deck is called AI Bounty Hunter. And the deck description reads, a deck that combines machine type monsters like Mecha Phantom Beast and Machina. In particular, the Mecha Phantom Beast token that holds the front line can be used not only for defense, but also as a tribute for activating effects as a link material. Meaning it should be used effectively as a force monster player. Oh yeah, also, this protects it from being the tokens protect your cards from being destroyed by battle card effects. So another thing, so you could just probably like leave the Mecha Phantom Beast out, actually. Maybe, I don't know. Since they do have like more attack than the Barricade Borg, maybe like just go into this if you need to. But otherwise it might be better just to like leave the Mecha Phantom Beast. Because like it's kind of good and it has more attack than your Link 2. And then maybe like on your next turn you could like, because you'll probably be able to maybe bring out like, if you know you're going to have a way to bring out 2 more materials for your Link 3, like you don't really even need to go into Barricade Borg. And that's probably better anyway since they have higher stats in general. Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much a deck right there. And then what's the next one? So I went over those 2. So I think I'm just gonna... Was it the Invincible Beetroopers? I think I did those. I think I did that one too. I forget. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do the Invincible Beetroopers, because I know I did the Nephthys one. Here, do I remember this one? I don't think I did do this one. Yeah, I don't think I did this one. So I'm gonna go over this, and then if I already went over these, then... oh well, I guess. But yeah, I'm just gonna go over these. So, okay, so this one, the deck description reads, the effects of the Beetrooper monsters can be combined to deploy multiple monsters, as if creating a fleet of soldiers. The Beetrooper tokens that are special summoned by effects such as that of Beetrooper Descent are also important aspects of his strategy. In addition to link summons, aim for fusion summons using Beetrooper Landing and Super Polymerization. So basically, yeah, this deck is called Beetrooper Super-Tactics, and it's basically about basically swarming the board, and there's some pretty good ways of doing that. Like, I mean, first of all, Maxi is really good because not only is it an insect, but it's also got a really nice hand trap ability, because my opponent's definitely gonna be special summoning monsters. Like, so yeah, this is gonna always be good. This is pretty much always good. So it's useful that also happens to be an insect that I can actually, I don't think I can actually search it, but still, it's an insect, so I can like use it for like other things as well. Like if I have like multiple in my hand, I can always just use the other one to null summon it, and then like, or like even just use it as fusion material. Like if I'm going first and I don't necessarily need the Maxi, but I probably would rather keep it in my hand for that purpose. Also, it's not even bad like going to a graveyard, because then I can just banish it using the Beetrooper Assault Ruler. And even if my opponent wasn't like special summoning, I could still just send to a graveyard, which is really nice. You don't actually need to have your opponent special summon anything in order for this, just sending this to the graveyard. So like, that's also really nice. So even if I was going first and I really want an insect in the graveyard to special summon this guy, I could just send to the graveyard. Basically wastes its effect, but I do get to special summon the Assault Ruler, which could be really nice. Yeah, and then Smoke Mosquito, I think, is another. Yeah, this is like basically a free special summon whenever I take battle damage, and this also happens to be an insect as well. And then Beetrooper Scout Buggy special summons out more of itself, and this like special summons itself whenever I know special summon an insect. It's also got a really nice negation effect for when my opponent activates a monster effect, so that's really nice. I can like even distribute itself too, so like I don't have to distribute one of my good monsters. Like if I just want to attribute itself to negate the to negate it, that's fine too. That's pretty cool. Oh wait, no, it doesn't actually negate the effect, it just destroys it, which can still be pretty good. And then Resonance Insect can either add me one of my high guys or add me one of my low level guys, so he's versatile. I have both high and low levels, so he's useful for both. And then Assault Ruler has a free special summon that can easily be procced by sending Maxi to graveyard again, like I was saying. Beetrooper Light Flapper helps me get resources back, and then Sting Lancer is another way to utilize insects in my graveyard, and this one's another way to and then this one's another way to get them back. And what's really nice, if I banish Maxi, I can put the Maxi, however many were banished, I can put them all into my deck, and then like maybe I can draw into the Maxi again later. So I can get like multiple uses of Maxi, which probably won't come up because I don't think the duel's gonna last that long. I don't think the duel did last that long, but it is nice like that there is that possibility. And then Multiplication of Ants gets me more materials for my link summons, and they also count as insects. So I'll be able to use them for the monsters that call for specifically insects, which I got plenty of. Foolish Burial helps me get fodder in for the Assault Ruler. It also helps me get fodder for the Sting Lancer. It also, like, definitely wanting to send Resonance Insect. And if I have Resonance in, and then if I do that plus the Assault, I have an Assault Ruler into my hand, I can get both of this effect, since, like, it's not a once per turn or anything. So even if I have like 2 Resonance Insects in my graveyard, I can like activate both of them. So like I can like full spare one, and then if I have another one in my hand, I can know some of that and like use as link material, and I can get another proc off of that other one, which is pretty nice. And then Terraforming adds the field spell, which is a pretty nice field spell since it lets me spell summon Beetroopers from my graveyard. Although I can't stack it if I place out another one, like I have to wait a turn. And this is probably not that useful to like send to graveyard to activate another one anyway, since it doesn't have like an on activation effect. And then of course these two are to go into my boss fusion, which is actually a pretty good attacker with a really solid effect attached to it. And then Layer Wire is Disruption. This could potentially get me a lot of tokens. It can basically turn 1 into 2 or 1 into 3 depending on how much attack that monster had. And it also, yeah, it's equal to original attack. This one is like the Omni negates. That's pretty cool. Oh wait, no, it only negates monster effects, but still really nice. Cicada King. Yeah, I guess it has a few interesting effects. It can like negate monster effects, change bow positions. And then, like, it can also change its own battle position to proc its first effect to special summon insects, so that's very nice. And then Picolina allows me to put out, like, insect monsters and equip it to my other monsters, and if I use that monster for, like, link material, it can then, like, it'll then just go to the graveyard, so I can use that to proc the Resonance Insect's graveyard effect. And then Shinobi Insect can basically like help like make sure like when one of my insects is destroyed, I get another one. And also can protect itself from being attacked as long as it's pointing to a monster. So yeah. Cross Sheep. Mostly just gonna be getting the Exceed effect. Or I mean I can do the fusion or the Exceed effect. And they're both not bad. And then Proxy F Magician is a way I can fusion without needing one of my fusion spells. So that's pretty cool. That's like something I can just go into if I wanted to. And then this one allows me to get an extra normal summon, which is pretty nice. And then this one like you can't actually like activate the effect right away because like you can only activate one of them per turn and only once that turn. So if you want to get the counter effect, the removing the counters, first you have to place them, and then on another turn you have to remove them. That's why it's a quick effect, because you pretty much have to activate this on your opponent's turn anyway. Because first you gotta place them, and then later on you can remove them. And then this one's like the like boss link, like that like is also a really nice one to go into. It like lets you special summon other Beetroopers out by simply tributing one of your insects. So like just tribute one of the insects you don't care about, special summon like out any of your Beetroopers, even the higher level ones. So that's really nice. And a lot of the Beetroopers have effects that activate when they're special summon as well. So you'll be able to get their effects too. So that's what you're mostly using for the special summon. Anyway, I think that's gonna end it. I'm not able to get to my opponent's deck. I guess I can just like scroll through it. I'll just scroll through it because like It's more or less the same. There's a few small differences. My opponent's going for more of like a howling insect as another way to bring out one of the other like insects. And what's cool is that like you're able to bring out the scout buggy with this. And when the scout buggy is activated, it gets out another copy of itself. So like that's kind of cool. And then the Goki pawn like actually like this would be kind of nice to search for the Max C, but my opponent's not playing Max C. But it does search for some other good targets. And then also they're playing Insectipede, which it can actually search for. That's another way of being able to like utilize the insects in your graveyard, banish them, and special summon out. Although my opponent isn't playing the Beetrooper that like does that. So... And then Doom Dozer is another way of like banishing the insects. So my opponent's playing a few more ways of being able to banish the insects to make sure they can kind of turb out the Mighty Neptune. And so they're playing a few extra copies since they have more ways of like banishing this stuff. And then Warm Bait is just another one of those cards that can get you like materials. Basically 2 more materials. But like it does lock you out from being able to normal special summon any level 3 or 4 monsters. But you can still go into like link monsters and stuff like that, so it's not that big of a deal, probably. And then Verdant is like a way to like get more insects, and like it's not a hard once per turn. So like if my opponent had 3 of these things out, they can get a bunch of insects. End up getting a bunch of insects into hand, which is actually kind of good since they need a few insects for the landing. So yeah, it's a little bit different, but like a few of the cards are the same, and the reason why they're playing the normal monsters is so they have like another fusion that they can go into besides the Ultra Beetrooper. Yeah. So yeah, and then this one like can like banish one of the monsters so it can get in for a direct attack maybe. Although it doesn't really banish it for very long. So I don't really know how good it is. Although I guess it does like temporarily take off threats, but like it's not even for that long. Your opponent just gets it back at the start of your opponent's next standby phase. Which, I mean, so they can pretty much just use it on the following turn. Which is, like, if you activate this on your turn, which you will be able to, like, they'll get it back as soon as it wraps around to their turn. And then they can still, like, just attack with it. So, like, I don't know. And then Giga Brilliant's there to just give their own monsters a little bit extra stats. A little bit extra attack, a board-wide attack boost. So yeah, and then a few of these are. And then Galaxy Worm is another way of like getting out. It like gets out extra copies of an insect so that like my opponent can go into like Link 2 plays. Or like since it's a level 3, they can also go into the Giga Brilliant. Yeah. And then there's a deck description. It says, when Howling Insect is destroyed by battle and sent to a graveyard, you can special summon 1 insect type monster with 1500 less attack from your deck. Oh, it's 1500. Oh, wait, no, that's Howling Insect, my bad. If the effect of Verdant Sanctuary can also be activated at that time, an insect type monster the same level as Howling Insect, level 3, can be added to your deck, to your hand from the deck. Utilize these effects in tandem to summon Beetrooper monsters. So yeah, I think they're also playing a lot. I don't know, like, I think they may also be. They're not really playing like that many like of like monsters of similar levels, but I guess they're playing enough that like it helps. And that's also like another good reason why they're running the Doom Dozer and the Heavy Beetrooper, so they can like make sure they have like targets for the Verdant Sanctuary no matter what monster is being destroyed. Like they have like a few level 4s. Yeah, and it can be a monster with the same name. as well. Like, they only have one level 6 and one level 7, so they wouldn't... Actually, yeah, they only have one level 6 and one level 7, so they wouldn't be able to add anything if those were to be destroyed. And they wouldn't be able to add anything if the Hercules beetle was to be destroyed either. But, like, these are mostly just being used for the fusion anyway, so... And also, they do actually, they do have the fusion that's also level 6, which is also another way to be able to add the light flapper. So that's something. Although the level 11 guy being destroyed won't add anything, since you don't have any level 11 monsters in your deck. But that should be okay. So yeah, there's a few more decks there. I'm not gonna go into a pack opening or verse there. It went a little bit long. I'll just leave the verse in the description. But I will go into the outro now. So stay tuned for that. Please like, share, and subscribe, and be sure to ring that notification bell for either all of my regular content or personalized regular content if you'd like. You can set personalized notifications by clicking the bell and then clicking on personalized, and that's also how you can do all. So with personalized, you will only get notified about the content that you actually are watching. So if you're only watching the Macedal content, you'll be notified of that. Anyway, if you'd like to further help me out, please be sure to leave a comment down below as well, because it helps the algorithm. It further helps get my videos out to more people. If you would like some examples of what you can comment down below, you can feel free to comment if you have any prayer requests, if you would like to further discuss the verse, if you have any thoughts on it, if you would like to give me feedback or criticism on anything that I talked about in today's video, if you would maybe like to give me some advice, that would be fine too. Also, if you would like to keep it simple, you can always post an emote as well. Just a simple emote will be good enough. Just be worried that if you post the same emote multiple times, YouTube may eventually lock you out of posting that for a few hours. So I just want to warn you about that. And also, I hope to see a lot of you in the next of this Macedal series, or in the next video that I will be posting up the next day. Bye everyone.